right now I'm taking the scenic route instead of bolting straight back to the Panhandle, because if I decide to just rush through and get all my work done that I'm just going to add more work to over time, right? Then I'll look back on life and eventually think, why did I not just smell the roses once in a while? And I suppose what I meant by that first statement is I do have a good amount of things on my mind, but ultimately I don't have a lot actually going on right now. So I've taken the last 3 weeks essentially, to ease my mind, get off a lot of, blow off a lot of steam. Because if you say this, right, you have a pot and you're boiling the water, eventually it's going to spill over onto the stove, it's going to explode, and the whole thing is just going to be a nightmare, right? Whereas you let it simmer, you let it do its thing, you pull it off the heat if it's getting to that point, you put it back on, you drain some water out, you take a finesse approach to it, you're not going to have that issue. And I talked to a guy recently about this as well, because he talked about how if you go too fast in life, you can end up crashing. And I agree. You can end up in the wrong job, you can end up in the wrong car, with the wrong person, and then all of a sudden you get hit by a semi, or that's pretty rare. But I suppose what I just mean is that a lot of people that I've met, I can just feel they're 40, 50, whatever they are. There are times they probably wish, man, I went way too fast, and now they're knocking the door of death, confronting their own mortality, thinking to themselves, whoa, my youth was gone like that. And I think, that's not going to be me. That is not going to be me. So I've been talking a lot of smack lately about where do I want to travel, what do I want to do, and it's culminated into a big stress tea kettle. And that tea kettle starts to steam really loudly, and it actually annoys a lot of people around me. They can feel it, or I'm tripping about this new job offer I just got. I'm waiting on a lawyer to review it, and I also just spent an hour zipping through Upwork and Fiverr looking for cheap lawyers and people to review contracts, and I found one with great reviews on Fiverr. They're based out of India, but they have great reviews, it looks legit enough, and they'll review my 12-page contract for $50. You have to be crafty when you're broke, man. And I'm not really broke, all told. I'm not in poverty. My income is not above poverty. What is this person doing? See, I got distracted just then. Why do I care? Again, that's actually a great example. See, I literally lost my focus because the person had their turn signal on and they didn't turn, and then that frustrates me for whatever reason, because going 70 miles an hour in my car is not fast enough, right? When is it fast enough? I think what technology has done and it's enabled us with the ability to zip through life, which is incredible. I'm so thankful for that, because I've gotten so much done that I don't believe I would have done in the same time span 50 years ago. Fiverr, Upwork, all of these resources did not exist. For people like me who get obsessive a little bit about success or whatever they're just focused on, they get obsessed about it, right? It's hard to smell the roses. And it can drive you nuts. Your mental health can be fickle, where you lose Wi-Fi and you lose your shit on top of that. When not that long ago, 100 years ago in the grand scheme of time, is not that long. That wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even, maybe the ultra geniuses of those days conceptualized connectivity. But now nowadays, it's just an expectation. Tony Robbins talks about this too, and it's very true. What you expect can actually become. Expectations are like crutches. You lose your crutches, you fall over. And if you expect the ease of modernity consistently and equate that with your happiness, oof. You know, this isn't a joke. It seems so dumb, but how many people go to Starbucks every day, blessed beyond belief, that they can get luxury coffee instantly? You don't even have to leave your house anymore to get that. And it's just expected. You think to yourself, oh, I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna flip out if I don't get it tomorrow. They call it the caffeine itch, the twitches. Because you're literally tweaking off of a legal drug. All the other ones are illegal, except for sugar, caffeine, go down the list. But they're all so addictive. You'd be like someone shooting heroin in their arm on a street corner, except it's socially acceptable. Every day going to Starbucks, run up a $2,000 to $3,000 tab per year. Do we really need all that? So anyway, after a while, does one truly enjoy the Starbucks coffee? Or does it just become an expectation? And then when you don't have it, you freak out. Ask anybody who's gone without caffeine after being a caffeined for months, years. They're pissed off. They're the equivalent of some starving child. They're just hopeless. They're like, how can I get through life without caffeine? So the expectation of luxury cripples happiness in some people when that expectation is not met. And appreciating everything in between, like taking the scenic route that I am right now, back to my place of dwelling, provides me the inner peace that indeed I'm practicing what I think and what I'm preaching currently about just being, regardless of the input. How am I doing? I have a car, I have a laptop, I have a phone, an iPad, I have ultra luxury items. Right, my backpack is right here, has all of it inside, except for my iPad. I left that up there, but that shows even more. I don't need the iPad. That's just something I had for work, and I kept a hold of it. So over time, as I've minimized, I put myself into situations where I'm just forced essentially to thrive on less. And then what happens? You just become more fulfilled, and you don't need the hit. You don't need the consumption lifestyle anymore. Rather, from within, you feel good enough to not need things on the outside to fill whatever void is within. Well, I even lost myself on that one, but you know what I mean? If you fill the void, you just continually look for something to fill the void. What else are you gonna do besides consistently do that for 3, 5, 10 years, and then finally tell yourself, you know what? I ought to just quit this job because it's not providing me the fulfillment of actually doing and being. Rather, it's only feeding my addiction for more and my desire for consumption. Without these expectations, what am I?